Hello students, this is Prithvi from Department of Mechanical Engineering, NIE Mysore. Today I am going to teach you about how to use the software package Solid Edge ST6 in the construction of development of surfaces. The scope of this tutorial is only limited to the use of the software tool. It is assumed that the learner has already undergone a course, that is the theory course on orthographic projection as well as the development of the surfaces. In the tutorial we are going to learn both parallel line development as well as radial line development. In order to start the course, so we'll start with a simple problem on parallel line development. The problem goes like this. I'll just read out the problem. So the problem goes like this. Draw the development of truncated portion of the lateral faces of a pentagonal prism of 20 mm side of base and 50 mm height, standing vertically with one of its rectangular faces parallel to VP. So this point is very crucial. So it is standing on a rectangular face parallel to VP and it is nearer to it, so as to produce a one piece development. So the development has to be only in one piece. The inclined face of the truncated prism is at an angle of 30 degrees to its axis, and it also passes through the right extreme corner of the top face of the prism. The orthographic projection of this particular problem looks something like the one which is on the screen. You can see its front and the top view. Here one more thing you can observe is I have not indicated the visible edges and the hidden edges yet. So whatever lines I have drawn, everything is by using a line which is having a least thickness, that is 0.13. So you can see that the given condition is met. The base side is 20 mm and the height of the solid is 50 mm. And the other thing is one of its vertical faces should be parallel to the vertical plane. So in this case it is E, D, E1, D1. You can see it is parallel to the vertical plane and also it is closer to the vertical plane. So that's the reason E, D as well as E1, E1 is parallel to XY line, and you can see it is closer to the XY line, so that the condition is met. So now we are going to draw the section plane. The condition for section plane is the section plane makes an angle of 30 degrees with the axis and it has to pass through the right extreme corner. In this case the right extreme corner is point C. I'll now draw the section plane from the right extreme top corner, that is C. So I'm going to draw a line from C which intersects the axis like this. So I'm going to dimension it now. The angle between the section plane and the axis should be 30 degrees. So the angle between this and this line should be 30 degrees. So that is this and this should be 30. So right now it is 40. So I'll change it to 30. So the angle between the section plane and this is 30. So I'm going to extend this section plane. For that I'm going to use something called as extend to next. Extend this line so till wherever I require. Similarly I may need a portion of it beyond C. So that I'm going to draw a random line like this. Again I'm going to use the same option, extend to next, and I'll extend this. So I'll delete this line now. The section line has to be indicated by alternating thin longer and shorter line. So I'll change the line type, make it like this, and the retained portion in this case is the bottom one. So I have to indicate that by showing an arrow at the end of this section plane. For that I'm going to use something called as call out. So I'll go to call out and I'll assume that the section is S. Let's say OK. So the retained portion is the bottom one. The arrow should point towards the bottom, so on either side. So this is how you indicate the section plane. So once it is done, so you have to only make the visible edges darker on the portion which has been retained. So I'm going to do it now. So initially I'm going to cut all these lines at the intersection point because I need only a bottom portion of this. So for that I'm going to use something called as a split option. So I want to split this line about this intersection point. Similarly, this line about the intersection point and this line at the intersection point here. And you can see here in this particular problem, so the vertical edge A1 is not been intersected by the section plane, whereas its base has been cut. So I'm even going to cut the base at this particular point. So after using the split option, now I'm going to darken the visible and hidden edges. So I'm going to select, in this case you can see that, so here AA1, BB1, CC1 are the visible edges, whereas DD1, EE1 is behind, so it is hidden. So obviously in this particular problem, AA1 is been cut by the section plane. Obviously you can't see it. So now we will go to the other edges. Let us say BB1, which is visible, and CC1, which is visible. I'm going to select BB1, I'm going to select CC1, and I'm going to make it as a visible edge, whereas the other two edges DD1 and EE1 are the hidden edges. So I'm going to select these two and I'm going to make it as 0.5 and the dashed line which indicates it's hidden. So this is how it looks, and obviously the base also should be made dark. So I'm going to make the baseline dark. So this is how the final front view of this truncated solid looks like. So now I have to do the same thing even to the top view, because you know that some portion of this top view will be cut by this section plane. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a vertical line where the base has been cut. So you know that it will cut AE or A1E1 as well as A1B1. So this is where it is going to cut, and this small triangle which you see here, so will not be visible. The rest portion will be visible in the top view. I'm going to make it as dark. So this is how the final top view of the truncated prism looks like. So now we are going to mark the points where it has been cut. So we'll start from each edges. So if it consider A1, so you know that the section plane doesn't cut A1. Instead it cut the base. So here let us say between A1 and B1 it is cut at this particular point. So I'll call it as, I'll go for annotation, I'll call this point as 1. So that's the point where the base has been cut. So next, what about BB1? So it has been cut BB1 at this particular point. So we'll call it as 2. Then CC1, so it is at the corner, it coincides with C, so this is 3, and DD1 it cuts here, we call it as, let us say 4. So then EE1 it has been cut here, we'll call it as 5, and again AA1 it doesn't cut, whereas it cuts the base edge which is A1E1, it cuts somewhere here, we will call it as 6. As it is exactly behind 1, we will put it inside the bracket. So we'll say it is 6. So this is how it looks like. And in the top view, you can make a note that, so 1 is between A1 and B1 and 6 is between A1 and E1. So if there is any confusion, you can even highlight that. So this is what will be the 1 and this is what will be 6. The rest of the points will coincide with the respective corner, so that I am not indicating it in the top view. So for the development, the interesting point here is point 1 and 6. So now we move on to the development of this particular truncated prism, and you know that the development for parallel line development has to be done adjacent to the front view. So in this case, as it is a pentagonal prism, you know that the stretch out length will be 5 times the base. So that is 20 into 5, that is 100. So what you can do is you can draw a rectangle of 100 cross 50 and you can split it into 5 equal parts. Rather, what I'm going to do here is I'll show you one more option called as mirror, so which you can use for both parallel line as well as the radial line development. So where I'm going to make only one vertical face, then I'm going to mirror it 5 times. So I'm going to construct a rectangle of base 20 mm and height 50 mm. So rather than making a full stretch out length, I'll just make one vertical face. So I'm going for dimension here. So I'll dimension this base, which you know is 20 mm. Right? So I am going to make a replica of this 5 times, because you know that pentagonal prism has 5 vertical faces. So I'm going to use the option called as mirror. Okay, so I'm going to use an option here towards the left. You can see mirror. So I'm going to mirror this entire solid 5 times with respect to the edges. So you have 3, 4 and 5. So this is how will be the stretch out length, and if you can see, the stretch out length of this has to be 100. So it is having a stretch out length of 100 mm. So this will be the developed surface of the entire solid without considering the truncated portion. So now whatever is been truncated here, we will transfer it to the respective edge. For that I am going to name all the edges. So now, as you are aware that in parallel line development, you have to just transfer the respective points where the section plane is cut directly on the respective edge on the stretch out diagram. So in this case, as A1 is not been cut, so we will not start from that. So we'll start from point 2. So where that particular point has been cut on BB1, right? So what you can do is draw a horizontal projector from point 2 till BB1. Similarly, from 3 to CC1. From 4 you draw horizontal projector till DD1. Then from 5 a horizontal projector to EE1, and again, so there is no horizontal projector from AA1 because it has not been cut by the section plane. But in this case, I have to, as a portion of the base is cut, I have to identify 1 and 6 on the base edge AB1 and AE1. For that, I have to look for the top view. So I want this distance. So that is the distance of 1 from A along AB, and similarly the distance of A1 to 6 along A1 E1. So for that, I am going to use a option, so which is there in the inspect. So where you can measure, you can say the distance, or you can even take the length. So I'm going to use the total length option. So you can either toggle between single and chain. Right now I want only single. And between A1 and 1, the length you can see is 4.32 mm. Similarly, the length between A1 and 6 is 11.30 mm. You can see here it is 11.30 and this is 4.32. So this I have to now represent on the developed portion, and you know that 1 is between A1 B1 and 6 is between A1 and E1. So here between A1 and B1 I'm going to use the arc by center option. From A1, dimension of 4.32, I'm going to cut an arc. Similarly, with this as center and radius equal to 11.3, I'm going to cut one more arc. So these 2 points will now represent 1 and 6. Other points are on B1 it is 2, and C1 it's on the top itself, it's 3, and D1 it is 4, E1 it is 5. And you can see here that 2, 3, 4 and 5 are the points on the vertical edges, whereas 1 and 6 are on the bottom base edges, right? Okay, so here the vertical edges distance you take it from the front view, whereas the distance of 1 and 6 with respect to, let us say, A1 has to be measured with respect to the top view. So we'll just show you that. So this is 4.32. Similarly, this is 11.3. So which we got it from the top view here. So I'll again dimension this. You can see here this is 4.32 and this is 11.3. So this is how we get all the points on the development. So now the last step is connect all the points. So initially I'll delete these things. Okay, I have to now join 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by using straight line. We have to use straight line because it is a prism. So now we'll connect all this point, and the cut line should be dark. So I'll connect from this point to 2, 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5, and you have to connect to 6, not to A1. Okay, and finally the entire base is visible. From 6 to 1 it is visible. And similarly all the vertical edges 2 to B1, 3 to C1, 4 to D1 and 5 to E1 are visible. So this will be the final development of this particular problem. So this is how it looks like. So this is the solution for the problem number 1. Thank you.